welcome to Knitting Needles and Stems. I'm Carrie, I'm the host, and today is Sunday, December 7th, 2025. Today's segments will include works in progress, finished objects, knit-alongs, more out than in, my pattern, and advents. I'd like to welcome all my new viewers. Thanks very much for checking out the podcast, and thank you very much to the people who are returning viewers. You can find me as Knitting Needles and Stems on Facebook, Ravelry, and Patreon. My Ravelry username is Kabammer, K-B-A-M-R. This is a retake from earlier. I recorded a whole episode earlier, got it all edited, and then my phone said that I was out of storage, so when I was trying to get rid of some storage, I accidentally deleted the video that I recorded earlier. So this is take two. If you hear background noises, my house is full. It's dark outside. This time of night, it's hard to find a quiet time. So, first things first, when we reach 100 viewers, we're going to have a yarn giveaway. I'll probably make up a questionnaire or an entry form on Google Forms, and you can enter that way to be included for the drawing for the yarn. I'll pick some out, probably out of my stash, and I'll show it the closer we get, when we get closer to 100 viewers, 100 subscribers. We had Thanksgiving holiday last week. My mom was up to visit, and we had our Thanksgiving dinner at my sister's bar and grill. It was nice. We had a lot of place for everybody to spread out, and it was just a really nice time. Lots of good food and fun time with family. And last but not least, I am putting a pause on the gardening segment for now. It is the middle of winter where I live. Today's high was 9 degrees and the low was -9, so there's not much gardening going on. We have a bunch of snow outside and it's just not gardening time. But I am, for this episode and then the next two after this, I will be sharing from my advents that I got. I got two different advent kits, one from Twice Shared Cheap and one from Lolo Did It. So without further ado, let's jump right into works in progress. The first thing that I've been working on is my Sea of Flames poncho by Nancy McElmurray. This one I'm making with 100 Ravens Yaksha in the Starry Night and Apollo colorways. So this is the Starry Night. This is the Apollo. And once I get to the yellow in there, I'll switch to this after this is all gone. This is my progress so far. I've made it almost through 2 charts, I believe. You can see I got the nice beads in there. The colors are changing. They're gradiating from this purple to the blue, then will be the gray and the gold. And I have these nice gold beads. These are from Fire Mountain Gems. And these will be used at least all the way through the blue. I have to decide if I want to keep using those when I get to the gray, or if I want to switch to my purple beads in the gray and then continue them into the gold. So if you want to let me know what you think I should do, I'll definitely take that into consideration, because sometimes other people, most of the time, other people have a better color sense than I do. So again, that's Sea of Flames poncho by Nancy McElmurray, using 100 Ravens Yaksha in Starry Night and Apollo. The next thing I've been working on is Lexi's Old Fashioned Villain Socks. These are Fish Lip Kiss Heel Socks by Socks Therapist. It's actually just a vanilla sock with the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. For these, I'm using Mode Knit Yarn, Mode Work Fingering in Old Fashioned Villain colorway. So this is my first sock. I'm ready for the cuff on this sock. My second sock, I'm almost ready for the heel. Normally, what I do when I make my socks is do 2 at a time. So I would do toe, toe, foot, foot, heel, heel. But we went to a movie last week during Thanksgiving break, and I had to have some straight knitting. So I had to do the heel on one of the socks to make sure that I could work on the leg while I was at the movie. Because if I kept going on this foot, it would have ended up being too long and I would have had to rip back. So And Lexi picked out this yarn at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool this year because red and black are Lexi's favorite colors. And it just turns out that they're called Old Fashioned Villain, and Lexi also loves all the villains. So again, this is the Lexi's Old Fashioned Villain socks using the Fish Slips Kiss Heel by Socks Therapist, and Mode Knit yarn, Mode Work fingering in the Old Fashioned Villain colorway. The next thing that I've been working on is Animalitos Trick It by Irene Kiss. This is a pattern that it's for 3 different animals, a bunny, a fox, and a bear. I'm making the bear. I have the head here in my little sparkly Lion Brand Bonbon colorway. I got 2 little ears ready. And I'm working on the body. I got the 2 legs done, and I'm working on the body. He has these little red and green underwear. Look how cute that is. The theme for this month is holiday bears, so he'll have a little sweater in red and green, and he's just going to be super cute. So again, this is Animalitos Trick It by Irene Kiss. The next thing that I've been working on is the Winter Work Shawl by Melissa Burke. And for this one, I'm using Knit Picks Swish Worsted in the Indigo Heather colorway. This is the shawl so far. You can see it has a nice wide edge on it, and then it has these this nice little pattern here with the little V's. It's just really pretty. Yes, it matches my sweater because this is the same yarn that I made this sweater with. This is really fun to make, but I've been getting caught up on the charts with the cables because they're 8 stitch repeats on the cables, and I've been getting off on my counts somehow. So I think I'm finally getting the hang of it, so it's going a little bit faster than it was. It's worked from the outside in, so you start by casting on a lot of stitches, and then the rows get shorter and shorter as you go. So again, that is the Winter Work Shawl by Melissa Burke using Knit Picks Swish Worsted in the Indigo Heather colorway. And the last thing that I've been working on is Untuva Slipover by Mayu Kaleo. For this one, I'm using Audine Wool's Bloom in the Forget Me Not colorway. This is a pullover vest, and I'm using this nice gray color. And that's the front of it, and it has this nice textured pattern. So you start by working the back, and then you'll pick up the shoulders and do the 2 fronts, and it has a V-neck. And then you join in the round after you get to the bottom of the armholes, and you work in the round. So this yarn is a chainette plied. You can see there, it's chain plied. It's super light and airy, and I think that this will be a really comfortable vest to wear over a nice collared shirt during tag season, or wear it with a long sleeve shirt when I'm not at work and don't have to dress so nice. So again, that's Untuva Slipover by Mayu Kaleo using Audine Wool's Bloom in the Forget Me Not colorway. Okay, that is all my works in progress for this time. Let's move on to finished objects. The first thing that I've finished is my Numpkin by Sarah Shira. For this one, I used Malabrigo yarn sock in the terracotta colorway and Beach Bunny Yarns World Traveler in espresso, and then some white that I had left over. I think he is just super adorable. His little hat has a curve to it and it's shaped like a pumpkin stem. And he is a pumpkin all the way around. Look at that. He's just so cute. He will be sitting on the shelf with my Christmas decorations and might look a little bit out of place, but I don't care because he's just so cute. I can't put him away right now. So again, this is Numpkin by Sarah Shira using Malabrigo Yarns Sock and Terracotta and Beach Bunny Yarns World Traveler in Espresso. Next, I finished my Donnie Bear by Donald Smith. This one is for the Bears for Kids group that I'm in. He has his nice fat belly like I showed you last time. His knees are messed up they're on the back of his legs somehow. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And he was for the hometown theme that we had last month. He had little ski poles that I took his picture with. So if you look on my Ravelry page, he'll have ski poles in his hand because our small town is famous for the American Birkebeiner, which brings tens of thousands of people to our town for a ski race that ends right here on our main street. So this is Donnie Bear by Donald Smith. And I've been working on some projects for the Indie Gift Along. The Indie Gift Along, I'll talk about a little more in the knit alongs, but they have a thing where you can do an opadu, which is where you make something, you finish something from all 8 categories during the knit along or the make along, gift along. So there's hats, feet, hat and head things, socks and leg, feet and leg things, arm and hand things, shawls, sweaters, baby things, toys and home decor, and neck things. So that's the 8 categories. So this is my head one. This is Peeping Sheep Hat by K.M. Bedigan using Malabrigo Yarn Dos Tierras and Polar Morn and Sublime Yarns Cashmere Merino Silk DK, and the colorway is 0027, and that's this purple. So you can see it has all these nice sheep on it. They go all the way around, and there is even one that has a different face than the others, and it's so cute. So on the pattern it has a chart for each sheep individually, these 2, and you're supposed to knit this one for I think 4 repeats, and then this one, and then 4 repeats of that one again. What I did was I started with this one, that way I wouldn't miss the part where I was supposed to be doing this one instead of the other ones, and I think it worked out just fine. This fits me perfect. It's a little light for what I would want to wear in the winter where I am, but it'll be great for spring or fall, and I'm really happy it's going to be for me. So again, this is the Peeping Sheep Hat by K.M. Bedigan using Malabrigo Yarns Dos Tierras and Polar Morn and Sublime Yarns Cashmere Merino Silk DK in 0027. The next thing that I finished is my Namaste Yoga Socks by Brenda Castile. For these I used Bumblebee Acres Farm Squishy Sock in the Shifter Lysandra colorway. Yoga socks are socks without toes or heels so that you're still able to do your yoga while keeping your feet nice and warm. They look a lot better on the sock blockers than they do off the sock blockers. Funny story, I've actually gifted some yoga socks to a friend who does yoga, and they said, "Oh, I like these fingerless mitts that you sent to me." No, they're not fingerless mitts, they're yoga socks. I don't think they would fit like fingerless mitts anyway, but I didn't know if I would like to use these to do yoga because I like to do yoga bare feet, but it turns out I really do like them. It's been pretty cold here, like I said earlier, and I like to have that extra warmth on my feet while I'm doing my yoga in the mornings. So again, this is the Namaste Yoga Socks by Brenda Castile, using Bumblebee Acres Squishy Sock, Bumblebee Acres Farm Squishy Sock in the Shifter Lysandra colorway. These are also for the Indie Gift Along, so that's 2 categories that I have done for that. The next thing that I finished is a Snowflake Mug Hug by Yarnspirations. This was our November knit along for the Project a Month group. And it turns out that I am not very good at following directions. This was supposed to be a duplicate stitch project, and I worked it as a stranded knitting project, which stranded knitting, you use 2 colors and you catch your floats as you go when you have long repeats. So what I did was I used ladderback jacquard to catch my floats around the inside, my long floats. And I think that probably it would be a lot stretchier if I had done it the way that the pattern actually said and used the duplicate stitch. Because duplicate stitch, I would have knit the whole white cozy and then sewn on the pattern. So I think it would have been a lot more stretchy that way. But it does go around the cup, so I'm happy about that. And I'm happy to just have another cozy, because I do like to have these in the car for when we stop and get goodies, coffee, tea, whatever we decide to get. So again, this is the Snowflake Mug Hug by Yarnspirations. And the last thing that I finished, that is also for the Indie Gift Along, so this is number 3 out of 8, is the TIE Fighter Mitts by Barbara Benson. This one is in the Star Wars Knitting the Galaxy book by Tanis Gray. And for this one, I use Knit Picks Gloss Fingering in the Jacaranda colorway and Navy colorway. So here's the mitts. They look really nice in these 2 colors, I think. They are knit using mosaic knitting, which means you only use 1 color at a time when you do the color work, but you slip stitches as you go to make a pattern on the mitts. So in this pattern in particular, you went up a needle size to do the mosaic. So I had to switch needles a lot. So we did small, large, small, large, small, large, small, large, small, all the way up. But I mean, they turned out great. They're kind of a snug fit on me even after I washed them. So I might keep them for myself. Kind of like the snug fit for mitts, but I might give them to someone else or donate them. So again, these are the TIE Fighter Mitts by Barbara Benson, and they are in the Star Wars Knitting the Galaxy book by Tanis Gray, and they're knit in Knit Picks Gloss Fingering in Jacaranda and Navy. Now let's move on to knit alongs. The first knit along that I'm participating in is in the Project a Month Cal group. We are, for December 2025, we are working on decorations. In the group, if you go to the thread, you can see a suggestion that we have for a free gnome pattern. I'm actually making a different gnome pattern. It's Nandad's Adventure by Sarah Shira. It's her mystery gnome for the month of December. So that's the one that I'm making to be for that cow, and it will go for my home item for the Indie Gift Along. So that's a double dipper. The next knit along that I'm participating in is in the Erniacs podcast group. It's the 2025 WIP Clean Up. It started on September 23rd and runs through December 31st. This one is for any work in progress that you had started before September 23rd, and you can come on over and get encouragement to get your works in progress done. if that's what you want to do. That's what I was all gung-ho to do, and then I decided that I was going to try for the Indie Gift Along a project Opadu. So it's not happening for me, but come on over and I'll cheer you on. The next knit along that I participate in is the Downseller Studio podcast, Pigskin Party. This one runs from September 4th, 2025 to February 9th, 2026. It's all through American football season. And you get points for however many yards you use in a project that started and finished within those dates. You get extra points if you use products or patterns from the sponsors of the Pigskin Party. And there are different challenges that they give you extra points for too. So when you sign up, you're assigned to a team. So I was on team 11. I think there's 13 teams now. And you work for, you help yourself and you help your team by getting points. And they go by the yardages that you have in your projects. And last but not least, I've already talked about it a little bit, the Indie Gift Along 2025. That one runs from November 20th to December 31st, 2025. And it is just a way to support indie designers. And although I am one of the indie designers that is participating in that, there's hundreds of designers to choose from, tens of thousands of patterns to choose from. So you can find anything that you're looking for in that group, and you can participate however you want, as little or as much as you want. So come on over and support some indie designers and have fun while you're doing it. Now, let's move on to more out than in. For November, I didn't bring any yarn in, but I did send out 1,582 yards. So that brings my year-to-date total to 15,540 yards sent out and 9,283 yards brought in. So I do have more out than in. I even have enough of a cushion there that my yarn advent is not going to upset it at all. And I have a swap package coming from another group, in my Yarny X group, and that's not going to hurt me at all either. It's not going to put me over. I'm going to have more out than in this year. So, and my plan right now is to not buy any yarn because I have enough yarn lined up with projects to last me at least several years, if not longer. And sometimes I do have to buy yarn for designs because I need something specific for something I'm designing. But other than that, I like my advents, so I'll probably keep getting those. But I think I'm going to try not to buy any yarn. So I'm just putting it out there in the universe, so that means it has to happen, right? Okay, let's move on to my patterns. I sell patterns on Ravelry as carried from fleece. Right now I'm working on the Mystery Critter for 2026. It's the 6th mystery knit along that I've hosted or designed. So I've been doing them since 2020. The pattern comes out on April 15th. And there's 6 clues over 6 weeks. It's small enough that you can easily get the clues done within the week span. And then on June 2nd, I usually have my daughter pull a winner out of a hat, and they get a nice yarn prize or design or pattern prize or whatever I feel like the prize should be for that year. So we'll see how tax season goes and how I'm feeling come to the end of it. So, okay. Let's move on to the new segment, Advents. Okay, in the first go of the podcast, I had Reagan come in here and help me open the Advents. She doesn't want to help this time. So I tried my best to put them in the order that they were in when I opened them. I'm not 100% sure that they're in the correct order, but I did my best. So first I'm going to talk about the Twice Sheared Sheep Advent. It came in this nice box. And then inside the box were, it's a magnetized box. Inside the box were all these boxes. Okay, and we've taken 1 through 7 out. We already opened them. We already opened them in one recording and then I deleted it. So, trying to go. So I know the first one that I opened was this wonderful project bag with Little Red Riding Hood on it. Look how cute that is. It has the Red Riding Hood and the wolf and the grandma and Red Riding Hood, and it's just so great. It's nice and roomy on the inside. It has this nice little pocket on this side and a nice leather base so that the bottom won't get worn out. So this was day 1 for the Twice Sheared Sheep Advent. Then day 2 was a yarn gator. This yarn gator, it says how to use your yarn gator. Clip your yarn gator across the opening of your project bag. Pull your yarn through the holes of the gator to keep each color separated and tangle free. Great for color work. Knit or crochet away. If you need to remove your yarn, remove the lobster claw from the end of the gator, open the jaws and remove your yarn. No need to cut your yarn. So it's great for color work projects. I have a habit of letting my colors get all tangled up together and then I have to stop knitting and untangle them. So this will get rid of that for good. So yarn gator, day 2. On days 3 and 4, I don't remember which one was which, but I did get a little tin. It says, tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes in it. And that's a quote by Anne Shirley. Look at that. A cute little tin to put stitch markers or scissors or stitch markers and scissors and a tape measure and tapestry needles and everything else that I might need. And a little notions tin. And I got the original row counter. Look at that. It's the original row counter. I've never had one of these. I'm so excited to be able to use it. And this one is the large. It goes up to a 10.5 US needle. So amazing. You put your yarn or your needle into the loops and it lets you know what row you're on. And look at the nice little spinning wheel. It's so cute. Day number 5 was Dawn's Handy Reference Guide to All Things Yarny. And it has this nice quote on the back from Elizabeth Zimmerman. Really all you need to become a good knitter are wool, needles, hands, and slightly below average intelligence. Of course, superior intelligence, such as yours and mine, is an advantage. And again, that's by Elizabeth Zimmerman. And this has needle and hook conversion charts, yarn weights, recommended needles and gauge, wraps per inch, yarny internet slang, pattern abbreviations, crochet chart symbols, which I need because I struggle with crocheted charts, knit chart symbols, yarn requirement estimates, yarn care symbols, body measurements for babies, child, teens, women, and men, head measurements, foot measurements, and references and additional resources. So this is going to be a really useful book for a lot of things. And day 6 was snag-free stitch markers, and they are Alice in Wonderland. Look how cute those are. You got the White Rabbit and Alice and the Mad Hatter, and the little hook on the top. It's snag-free. It won't rip your yarn. It won't get snagged on your yarn while you're working with it. And these are also the large, and they go up to 10.5 US needles. And for day 7, you got the 2025 Advent Doodles from Pacific Knit Company, my bad. And this is the Storybook Doodle card deck. So, in this deck, we have, I didn't have to open it, did I? In this deck, it says right here on the back, we have The Three Little Pigs, Big Bad Wolf, Little Houses, Little Red Riding Hood, Granny Wolf, Picnic Basket, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Porridge, Witch, Candy House, Candy, and Treats. So it's going to be a lot of fun to make something out of that. So that was the 7 days of the Twice Sheared Sheep Advent. And then I also got a Lolo Did It Advent. They came, let's see if I can get this box open and not make a whole bunch of noise. They come in these nice little packages. They're sealed at the top. They're completely sealed, so you have to rip that off. And in my first try of this episode, Reagan was struggling to get the tops off of them, so that was kind of funny. But not this go, because we've already got them out. So the first one, I'm pretty sure day 1 was Lightborn, and again that's Lolo Did It. And these are the Lil Lolo original Lightborn. And it had a little card in it that says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's Genesis 1:1. Second day was Firmament. And the card read, now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness covered the surface of the watery depths, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Genesis 1:2. And 3 was Verdure. You can see that it's a gradient. It's becoming a gradient. And the card was, then God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. Genesis 1:3-4. Then I think it was Luminaries. I'm not 100% sure if this was the next one. But we're gradiating from purple into gold now. The light, right? And this says, then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. They will rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the livestock, the whole earth, and the creatures that crawled on the earth. Genesis 1:26. Then we have Wingspan. Then the card says, so God created man in his own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them male and female. And day 6 was Kindred, which, Kendra, I have to apologize to you because it was really cute because Reagan thought I was going to say Kendra when I said Kindred on the original episode, and she was saying hi to you. So I'm sorry you had to miss that, Kendra. But anyway, Kindred, and the card says, God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every creature that crawls on the earth. Genesis 1:28. And day 7 was Sanctum, which we made it to the gold. We made it to the gold. And God saw all that he had made, and it was very good, indeed. Evening came, and then morning, the 6th day. Genesis 1:31. So those are my Advents up through day 7 on both. Next week, I'm going to have another episode because I missed last week. I'm trying to stay on my 2-week schedule, but since I missed the week, I'm a week late, and we'll have 2 close together, and then they'll be back to 2 weeks at a time. So the 27th is when we'll get the final opening of all of the things, all of the Advents. But next time you'll get to see the next 7. So until next time, keep doing what you love. Bye.